How to choose a kitten name. Getting a new kitten is exciting. When you first welcome your feline companion into your home, you will want to pick a suitable name. Write down a variety of names that are meaningful to you and suitable for your kitten. Think about your kitten's personality and appearance. Make sure to pick a name that's easy to say and that your cat will recognize. Make sure you don't choose the wrong name. A name that's similar to another household pet, for example, can be confusing. Method 1: Selecting meaningful names. 1. Write all your ideas down. As you begin assembling potential names for your kitten, keep a pencil and notebook handy. Jot down all your names in your book. Once you have a long list of names, you can go through it and select the one you like. It may be a good idea to take the notebook with you when you go out. You never know when inspiration may strike. 2. Think about naming your kitten based on its color. Many pet owners name cats based on color. If your cat's color is likely to remain stable as it grows, you can try a color-based name. For example, a gray cat could be Smokey. An orange cat could be Marmalade. A white cat could be Snowball or Blizzard. You can get a little more creative if you want. You could, for example, choose the name of a color in a different language or pick something that reminds you of a particular color. For example, if you have a white male cat, you could name him Bing after the lead in White Christmas. 3. Try a geographical name. Many people find it's fun to give cats names based on geography. If you got your kitten out of state, for example, you could give it a name based on that location. If your kitten was, say, shipped in from Tennessee, you could name it Memphis. You can also pick a geographical name based on the kitten's breed. If you have a Russian blue, for example, you could give it a Russian name like Masha or Sergey. You can also pick a geographical location that's close to you personally. If you're from Chicago originally, for example, you could name the cat after a train stop in Chicago, picking a name like Paulina, Addison, or Belmont. 4. Remember your cat's personality. Many people wait a few days to observe their kitten before selecting a name. This is usually a good idea if you want to name the cat after its personality. Consider keeping your kitten for a few days and observing its behavior before giving it a name. There are really few limitations if you're naming your cat after its personality. You can choose weather names, names of famous people, names of characters, names of zodiac signs, and so on. Just to pick a name related to something that reflects your kitten's attitude. For example, say your kitten is very active and loves batting toys around the floor. You could name him after a famous hockey player. A name like Gordy, after Gordie Howe, or Gretzky, after Wayne Gretzky, could be cute. 5. Pick a name that honors tradition. Oftentimes, people want a nod to history when naming a pet. You may have a family tradition, like all cats are named after a type of fruit. You may also want to honor a deceased pet in naming your cat. Think about any traditions regarding your pet's names. Maybe all the pets in your family are named after TV characters. You can spend a few days observing your cat's behavior, and name him after a TV character with a similar personality. You can pick a name that pairs well with an existing pet's name. If you, say, have a dog named Diego, why not name your kitten Frida? You can also honor a lost pet with a new pet's name. If your first childhood pet was a cat named Cupcake, you could pick another bakery-themed name. You could name your cat something like Cookie, Pumpkin, or Muffin. You can also name the kitten after a lost pet of a different breed. For example, say you used to have a male horse who passed. You could name your kitten something like Colton. Method 2: Picking a practical name. 1. Choose a shorter name. It's easiest to give a cat a shorter name. This way, the cat will recognize the name easily. It will also be simpler for you to say when calling your cat. 1 to 2 syllables is ideal. If you love a name that's on the longer side, you could always use that name but use a shortened nickname when calling your cat. For example, a cat named Harrison could be called Harry on occasion. 2. Opt for the right sounds. Cats respond to particular sounds. You want your cat to be able to recognize its name. Therefore, choose sounds that are easily detectable to a cat's ears. Cats tend to respond well to the long ee sound. A name that ends in that sound may be a good option. For example, Molly, Daisy, Lucky, Charlie, etc. Cats also respond to harder consonants. A name with K, D, or AT sound is easier for your cat to recognize. For example, try a name like Trudy, Tommy, Dusty, or Katie. 3. Refrain from choosing names that sound like commands. If you intend to have your cat follow basic commands, do not choose a name that sounds like a command. This can be confusing for a growing kitten. For example, the name Sun may suit your cat's personality. However, it also sounds like come, so your cat may get confused coming when it's called. Kittens are rambunctious by nature, so be careful to avoid names that sound similar to words such as no, down, and off. You'll likely need to use these words often. While a very fuzzy kitten may look like it should be named Puff, this sounds very similar to off. 4. Pick a name that's appropriate to use in public. Make sure the name you choose doesn't have any negative connotations. You may need to use it in public, in places like the vet's office. You should also be careful not to pick a name that can be misheard. Be sure your name does not sound too similar to a curse word or negative word. Method 3. Avoiding the wrong name. 1. Remember your kitten will grow up. When selecting a name for a kitten, remember you will eventually have a full-grown cat. Therefore, you want to pick a name that will age with the cat. A name like Baby may seem cute now, but your cat will not be a baby forever. Pick names that won't sound silly when your cat gets older. 2. Think about potential changes to your kitten's appearance. Some kittens change in appearance over time. This can sometimes be hard to predict. You can't, for example, know precisely how big a kitten will grow. Some kittens may change color over time as well. If you're picking a name based on your kitten's appearance, consider the likelihood of its appearance changing. You may want to avoid naming a kitten with a white coat based on its appearance. White coats are subject to change color with time. You should also take size into consideration. Tiny may be the runt of its litter now, but could easily grow into a very large cat. Also, think about the cat's voice. A very squeaky meow may inspire you to name your cat Mouse. However, cats' meows tend to deepen over time, especially in males. 3. Do not pick a name too similar to another pet's name. If you're drawn to similar types of names, this is particularly easy to do. It can get confusing if you have too many pets with similar names. This will make it difficult for your kitten to recognize its own name. If you have a dog named Addie, do not name your new kitten Maddie. If you love names that start with L, keep in mind that differentiating between Lucy and Lulu can be challenging for animals. 4. Keep potential nicknames in mind. If you name your cat something with an obvious nickname, chances are people will use it. Rather than exhausting yourself correcting people, opt for a name with nicknames you don't mind. For example, if you name your new kitten Maxine, people are bound to call it Max. If you name a kitten Rose, people will call it Rosie. If you dislike either of these nicknames, go with a different name.